to episode 5 of Gnome Sane Presents. Today, we proudly present a retro gamer known only as BigJmo, coming from the depths of Twitch and beyond. All right, there we go. What's good?
All right. What's going on?
Not much. We got BigJmo coming in for Twitch streaming. How you doing?
Good. How you doing? How was your day?
Not too bad. We woke up late, and that's as usual. The sleep schedule's a little bit upside down, but we're getting things done, and all in all, pretty good. How about you?
Not bad. Not bad. I got out of work a little bit early today and got some stuff done around the house, so that's always a plus.
Okay, definitely. So usually we have Goofy MTF as a guest host, as a host, but a co-host. He's got a family emergency today, so we have no co-host today. So it's just me and you hanging out, buddy.
Awesome.
So yeah, I guess we can get started, man. You're streaming on Twitch. How long have you been streaming for?
Since about September. I got into it about September of last year.
Okay.
I ended up missing work for a couple of weeks. I ended up having surgery, and my brother was like, you're gonna be sitting at home, you might as well pass the time with streaming. So that's what I started. That's when I started.
Okay, so you've always been gaming and things that, and you just had a couple like weeks off, and you're like, well, I might as well stream.
Yep, pretty much.
All right, and you've been streaming since then?
Yep. Okay. I try to stick to my schedule, but having a 2-year-old is kind of hard to stick with my schedule.
I bet. Yep. So you got a 2-year-old. That's got to be tough too. What type of schedule do you have?
Usually I try to get on about 8:30 at night to about 10:30 during the week. Most of the time lately, it's been about 9 o'clock. I've been getting on just because of his not wanting to go to sleep. The wife gets mad if I come in here too early. So I gotta keep her happy.
Yeah. No problem there. So the like 8:30 that's Central Time then, and
yes.
8:30, 9 o'clock, and you try to go every night?
Every night but Thursday, because she works till 8 o'clock Thursday nights.
Okay.
So it would just be too late by the time she got home and got on. So
your brother said you should start streaming. You're laid up from an injury. What kind of injury did you have?
I actually had my gallbladder taken out.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a lot of stomach issues, and
yeah.
So the doctor was finally like, okay, let's get your gallbladder taken out, and I'm feeling good. So,
okay, well, that's good, man. Yeah, I had surgery a couple years ago with a hernia surgery. I had 3 hernias too. I forget what they call them down there by the boys, and one by the belly button. So that's I had all that done at once, and I was laid up for a little while. I wasn't streaming yet at the time either, though. So are you looking to grow and keep doing streaming? Like, what do you see for yourself in the future?
I'm hoping to just, keep growing and just, kind of share my love of my retro games with everybody. I'm always down to meet new people and hang out with new people. The more the channel grows, the merrier,
Right.
I do have that sub goal set. That would be nice to hit eventually. I know it's going to be a grind to get there, and when we get there, somebody's going to get a sweet prize out of the deal. So,
you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So, yeah, I've got a sub goal set right now that when we hit 75 subs, I actually have an N64 sitting next to me that I will be sending somebody when I will raffle it off when we get to that goal. And you'll get the HDMI cable, not my HDMI cable, but the HDMI cable I use to stream the N64, and then I've got a copy of Glover to go with it too. So you'll be able to hook it right up to your TV and start playing.
Okay. And to get more games, would you be looking to get retro N64 games for that? Like if you want it and wanted to play more, would you have to be getting the cartridges?
Who, me?
Whoever wins it, they get one game with it now for other games.
They get the one game if they want anything else. If I can sweeten the pot a little bit, I will, but I don't want to give out a crap N64 game,
Right. Yeah,
and some of the good N64 games are kind of up there in price. So
got you. But if you were to want to play it and you want it and you wanted more games, you'd have to go out and look for N64 original cartridges then because it's an original deal guy, right?
It's an original deal.
Yeah.
And I could even, if anybody wanted, I can pick up the adapter tray that if they wanted to play Japanese games in there, they could swap the tray out and they could play both American and Japanese games in there too.
Oh, okay. Do you
So
do that?
my personal N64 has the slot in it already.
Yeah.
The only I have a Japanese copy of Banjo-Kazooie. That's the only Japanese game I have for it. So,
Okay.
but yeah, should be
That's
good.
awesome.
Somebody's gonna get a sweet prize.
No
one day.
doubt. That's awesome. So you're looking to get 75 subs to give that away. How far away are you from that now?
I think we're at 9 right now. I had like 13 last month, and I think it was just from a bunch of gifted subs that I got.
Okay.
But you know, when we get there, we get there. It's not going anywhere. So
Okay.
when
Right.
we get there, we'll get
Yeah.
there.
All right. That's a good deal though. That's awesome. So Banjo and Kazooie, you said you have for the Japanese version.
Yep.
Did you you've played it then, obviously, right? The Japanese version.
I played it just to make sure it worked when I bought it because I got it online. So I just wanted I cleaned it up just to make sure it turned on, and it turns on. And plays. I can't read Japanese, so
okay.
it was kind of I got it for like $10, so it was kind of too good of a deal to not
okay.
take.
So sort of like a collector item, like, hey, I got this. Yeah,
Yep.
Okay, cool. So you don't really play the Japanese versions a whole lot.
No.
You just kind of have it.
No.
That'd be hard. They're all in Japanese, right? And everything. Is there differences is aside from language and
Not really, no.
okay.
Not with the N64 stuff, so
Okay. Other consoles have
they might.
differences?
I know there's some games that you can only get certain regions have certain games. So if there was I don't know if there is any, but like a N64 game that was released in Japan that we didn't get, you could potentially get your hands on it and play it.
Got you. Yeah, I remember way back in the day. This is like old school. I'm talking like probably like early 90s or late 80s maybe. Where we were talking about people having their hands of like a Nintendo I forget what game it was, man, but it was all about it was Final Fantasy. I think having like the original Final Fantasies, like people were cool or whatever. Some people had the Japanese version of the Final Fantasy game because they didn't have an American version of that out. So I don't understand how they played it either, though.
I don't know. Especially like a game like Final Fantasy, that would be really hard.
Yeah, because it's mainly a text-based story game. So you're going to be reading Japanese the whole time? I don't believe it.
I actually have a buddy who's Japanese, and he's like, I don't even want to try to translate any of it for you.
Oh, okay. That's too much, right?
It's too much.
That's so funny. Do you have a favorite console?
The PlayStation 2 by far. It's what I grew up on. I started out with I grew up in the 80s, so I was born in 85, so I had an NES first. Yeah. And then I got a Genesis, and then I kind of fell off for a little while, and the PlayStation 1 came around, and I got back into it. And then when the PlayStation 2 hit, that's when everything started to go for me again. So definitely the PlayStation 2.
Any particular game? Do you have an all-time favorite or anything?
I wouldn't say for the PlayStation 2, but PlayStation 1 for sure would be Metal Gear Solid.
Okay. The original Snake Plissken.
Yep, the original one.
Yeah.
Like I said, just something about Sony. I don't know what it was. I never had an Xbox. I actually didn't have the N64 till a couple of years ago. So, like the Nintendo collection's all kind of new, minus the NES stuff I have. Yeah. So, but yeah, I've been a Sony boy since I can remember.
Okay. Do you have all the current gen stuff? Like, have you been keeping up on the consoles stuff?
Actually, to get my PC, I actually sold off my Series X and my PS5 to get my PC.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be a worthy trade. The PCs are pretty powerful, and if you got a good graphics card for gaming and stuff like that.
Yep, I got my PC's better. Specs are better than what the current gen consoles have right now. So
okay, perfect. And you can always upgrade stuff a little bit on that too. So that's awesome. Should be going for a while. Yeah, I had my latest one was an Xbox One, and I didn't have a console for quite a while before that. I don't think. No, I might have had a 360, but it was a big gap because I've been running PC for a long time. but I haven't had really a preference for consoles either. I've played all kinds. So that is that when you started gaming? Was it around PlayStation 2?
That's when I really started like getting into it, because
Mm-hmm.
that's about the time that I could start, buying my own stuff and
Okay.
start getting into it. Back when I was younger, you had to rely on your parents to take you to the rental store.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, but yeah, I would say PS1, PS2 is when I really started diving into it.
Okay. How old are you? If you don't
I'm
mind me asking.
36.
Okay, 36.
I'll be 37 in July. So,
All right, got a birthday coming up. That's
yep.
cool. Yeah, I'm a little bit older. I was just wondering where we were putting that generation gap. I'm 45, so I
Okay.
got about 7 or 8 or 9 years on you. And that does put it in that range, for me playing Atari games and stuff,
Mhm.
starting out like to you having the PS1, PS2 games and stuff, and getting into that area. But yeah, it's cool, man. Let's see. I don't really have any guidelines going on here for the podcast. We can just talk about basically whatever we want to talk about. Lately you've been streaming. What was the last game you streamed?
We're streaming Enter the Matrix right now on the GameCube.
That's right. Okay. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's
on the
kind of
GameCube?
fun. Yeah, they released it on. I know it was released on PS2 as well. So I'm sure it got released on Xbox too. But
Right.
the GameCube version is supposed to be a little bit better because it runs at 60 frames per second versus the PlayStation 2 and everything.
Yeah.
So I kind of find it like more of a polished version of Max Payne without the wonky controls.
Okay.
So,
gotcha. Does it have like that bullet time effect? And
yep,
stuff?
it's got the whole slowdown effect to it.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
the only difference is too, like, with Max Payne, it was really just the bullets that would, slow time down and everything. This one you can like slow time down and spin through the air and kick and all in slow motion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you could do some melee moves and stuff like that, and sprint in and combat them and stuff like that.
Like you can do the whole put the one foot up on the pillar, jump off, and kick while you're in slow motion, and yeah. It's been we're on the second disc of it right now, so I probably will be done with it either Friday or Saturday night.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So you're gonna play through that one on your stream?
Oh yeah, we're gonna play through it. I've been enjoying it way too much just to stop. Like,
right.
My issue with Max Payne was like you and I were talking about the other day, just the wonky controls and I got stuck in this burning building and it doesn't tell you where to go, and I'm like, and you only have a certain amount of time before the room like completely catches fire.
Yeah.
And then if you die, it sends you all the way back to the beginning of that part, and then you got to do it all over again.
You got to replay the whole level.
Yeah.
I think I vaguely remember playing that one. It was just like a dark floor area sort of that you had to walk on and stuff. There were some weird little puzzles they had in there.
There was.
Yeah.
And I just like, I like this game, but I just need a break.
Right.
So, and then one of the guys in my chat was like, hey, you should try Enter the Matrix. He's like, it's like Max Payne, but it's a lot better.
Okay.
So I went down to my local retro store, and they had a copy of it, and I picked it up and been playing it ever since. So
nice. So like your local retro store, they go in there and they deal in physical copies of retro games?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of fortunate because where I'm located, I'm about an hour from Madison and about an hour and 15 minutes from Milwaukee too.
Okay.
So like just in my area, I've got 3 within a half an hour of each other. And then if I wanted to go to Madison or Milwaukee, I've got probably 3 or 4 more in each city and, an hour away. Okay. So it's, I'm very fortunate in where I live and, the games that I'm able to get.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because if one place doesn't have it, the other place might.
Yep.
You could definitely check that out. How pricey do those games get, man? Like if you're buying one?
It all depends on the game. Like,
yeah.
Let me grab a couple and I can show you.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yep. So this would be a good spot for a commercial break. If anybody wanted to have commercials for the podcast, we could put it here. We could put maybe some tea beverages. We could do maybe some microphone commercial. We could do a webcam commercial, maybe a video game controller commercial, or we'll just show turtles. We could do stuff like
Nothing
that.
wrong with turtles. Oh, yeah.
Nothing at all. I got 2 red ear slider turtles. I'm working on improving their shells. They've had a little bit of shell
Well,
rot
that's not good.
happening.
I've got a ball python too.
Oh, I just got one,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I love them.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah.
I've never had one, but we got one for me and my wife got it sort of for each other, like the whole setup and a little baby ball python for Christmas.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. Is it just a regular ball python, or is it like got a
Yeah.
special morph to it, or
No Morse, no Morse or anything like that. It's just a common ball python.
Oh, not bad. There's such a good snake. It was sad. The last dog I had before they're like, you'd let your son handle your snake, and my old dog was just so mean. I'm like, it's sad that I trust this ball python with my child more than I trust my actual dog.
Right.
But
the reptiles can be kind of like that, and that's the deal with ball pythons. And I'm still scared. I like to hold them and shake. I haven't been good at holding my snake yet, but I'm practicing it. I haven't been bit. I'm just trying that.
A ball python, more than likely you're not going to get bit from.
Right. And I feel that I'm scaring it and stressing out more that just by me shaking it and stuff.
Well, that's the thing too.
Me.
They can feel that on you.
Right. Oh yeah.
So, yeah. I've had a number of different reptiles over the years. It's kind of been my thing.
Okay. Yeah, I expect the ball python, as far as temperament wise, seems to be kind of sort of like my bearded dragon, which I could just go in and swoop and pick her up and stuff. And, just really cool and passive and fun. So,
you might have a little issue if you tried to pick it up a day after a date, but
yeah. I usually wait like 2 days after a date before I do any picking up.
Because actually, if you make them throw up, you can actually really hurt them. Because if you scare them enough, they'll regurgitate their food, and that can be bad for them.
Yep.
So, I've got to cut. Are we live again? Or
we're always live, buddy.
Okay. All right. So I actually got some of the more pricier games in my collection right here.
Okay. Show off some of these collection, buddy.
It all depends on the system. Like, the GameCube's going up in value right now. Mm-hmm. So, we've got Wind Waker.
Okay.
I've got, Twilight Princess.
Okay. Hold them up there for just a second. So that,
okay. We'll start over. We got Wind Waker.
Okay.
Got Twilight Princess.
Okay, another Zelda game. Yep.
And then this one's actually really expensive too. This is the promotional disc I can't remember what game they got it for that it was for, but it's got all 4 of the original Zeldas. It's got
oh wow.
It's got Legend of Zelda, Adventures of Link, Ocarina, and Majora's Mask on it.
Okay.
And this will play on the GameCube. And
that's
then
awesome.
My wife would not let me buy this one. I actually had to trade in a bunch of like my old Funkos I had sitting in the basement to get it.
Wow,
this one, this is Zelda and the Four Swords Adventure. This one cost me $200.
Ooh, sheesh.
And then you got your standard Mario Kart Double Dash. This was $100.
Yeah.
And then as far and N64 is kind of that's another one of the things like Paper Mario's. This is like a $90 game.
Yeah.
And then you got the gold Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Oh no, this is Majora's Mask. I'm sorry, Majora's Mask. For PlayStation 2, I don't really have a lot of expensive games, but I've got Scarface. This is like a $35-$40 game.
Okay.
But this is one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games. So when I found it in the store, I had to have it.
Got you. So, yeah, like a nostalgia one. Have you played it? Like since you got it? Since you got it again? Yeah.
That's actually one of the first retro game I actually streamed was Scarface.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. So your first Twitch stream was Scarface back.
Actually, I did not start out streaming retro games because I started out before I had the PC. I was streaming just on my Series X, straight from my Series X.
What's the Series X?
The Xbox.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
I was streaming Destiny 2 for a while.
Okay.
That's my modern game. That would be the game I would go to and play. Something about a Bungie shooter. I just love it.
Okay.
So then once I got the PC, I was like, I could start streaming my retro stuff. And so,
okay.
yeah. And then I started streaming it and I was, talking with some people, and I was like, I love the Destiny community, but it's so flooded with streamers and everything. I'm like,
Right.
I need to try and do something to stand out.
Right.
And then I was like, well, you don't see too many people just streaming retro games on Twitch. And
Right.
I was like, let me show some of the love I have for retro games on Twitch.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Yep. And it's cool too, like those, because the categories that show up, there might only be a couple people streaming. So if someone's looking, they're
Exactly.
like, "Oh, that game's cool," and you're like one of the dudes that are on there, and you got some good entertainment. They might stick around and check out some
Like,
other stuff.
I forget what I was playing the Transformers games on PlayStation 3, and I had so many people just was like, "You're actually streaming this on the PlayStation 3?" I'm like, "Yeah, man.
Right.
I love the Transformers. I figured it'd be fun to play, and I got like a couple subscribers out of it, and just the fun of playing Transformers was awesome.
Right. So with the console games and things like that, do you have do you feel like you're missing out from graphics wise? Like, do you look at this and be like, "Oh, these graphics aren't good compared to new games," or anything like that, or is there situations where you run into that with that,
Um,
or is
I would say it's sometimes it just I've noticed with like the Matrix, like trying to get it to come over and stream, like
Mhm.
with the picture quality, you can tell it's not there.
Yeah,
But when I streamed the PlayStation 3 and we played Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, you
yeah,
could put that game up almost against some of the stuff that's out right now,
okay,
and it looks just as good.
okay,
So, I think it all depends on what you're playing.
okay. And I mean, and also too, I think some of those older games too is you might have like a good story or really good
Yeah,
game mechanics and fun gameplay, and just the graphics aren't as important when it comes down to enjoying the game.
exactly. And I kind of find that out too, like with like these newer games. And I'm not a big PvP player,
Hmm.
and I notice when I get into those games, I can tell I'm not having as much fun. And when I can go back and you play these retro games.
I was just putting King Rabbit here, put up some emojis in here.
When you're playing these retro games, it kind of takes you back to that time when you were younger, when you didn't have those worries and everything that you have to worry about as an adult. It kind of takes you back to that time when you can just
Okay.
feel that nostalgia, you
Yeah,
know?
so you kind of put yourself into that situation where you feel young again. You feel like
Yeah.
you're a kid again when you're playing. It's like, all right, this is awesome.
Like, and you like, we were doing something on Matrix last night, and I had to pull up my phone. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I'm trying everything, and
Right,
these games don't hold your hand. So
right,
you've got to, I had to like, well, I want to get this done before I sign off. So I had to quickly go through my phone and glance. Okay, this is what I've got to do to get through this part. Okay.
right. Yeah,
So
some of those were super trial and error too, and
yeah.
and and you just had no way of knowing on some stuff. Were you playing back before they had like the good old internets for games and things like that, and your cheats and your hints and all that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would say mainly I would always try to play the game without the cheats.
Hmm.
I'd go buy those little cheat books at Walmart and whatever that you could find. And
Okay. Yeah.
um I was always big on reading, what was that? I think it was called, what was it? Next Gen magazine or whatever it was, I think
Hmm.
it was. I read that one a lot. Just trying to keep up with everything. Um this is kind of what I've been into since I can remember. So
Okay.
video games is kind of my life. Video games
Okay.
and Ghostbusters.
And
To be
Ghostbusters,
Ghostbusters.
like the TV Ghostbusters or real life Ghostbusting. Oh, there we go. He's
Let me
got
move
the
my mic
tag.
out of the
Yep.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my whole
Hold on.
right arm is Ghostbusters. Even I've got the librarian on the back side of my arm from the
Oh yeah.
beginning.
Okay.
Oh,
That's awesome.
oh,
Oh, what?
I lost my audio.
Okay. We'll get him back right now here soon. Hopefully, we got BigJmo with his tattoos and his audio. Dude, yeah, that is sick. We got Choi Choi in here saying, "Wow, that's sick." Thank you for popping in. Those tattoos are great. We're just
There
gonna
we
keep
go.
talking
There we
here.
go.
All right,
All
cool.
right. Sorry about that. I must have bumped my headset or something.
Hey, no problem, man. We're good.
But
Just
yeah.
some minor technical difficulties. That tattoo's sick though, dude.
I met Ernie Hudson probably 5 or 6 years ago. I actually have Ernie Hudson's signature up on my shoulder.
Who's Ernie Hudson? I'm sorry. I'm
The black one.
okay.
Yep. I have his I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it or not, but
Okay.
like the signature is right up there on my shoulder.
Got you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how did that work? What do you mean? Did he like actually sign your arm and then they tattooed
Yeah.
over it?
Yeah. I met him at the first time Wizard World came to Madison. He was there, and I came up to him and told him how much I love Ghostbusters and everything.
Yeah.
And I got a Ernie Hudson action figure that's signed too. And I was like, hey, my tattoo artist is right down the street. Do you can you sign my shoulder and I'll go get it tattooed right now? And he was kind of blown away by it. And
Right.
so he signed my shoulder and I left Comic-Con and went down the street and got my arm tattooed, got my shoulder tattooed.
Oh, that is awesome. How long ago was that?
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think. Trying to think how long me and my wife we've been married 8 years, so probably 7 years
Okay.
ago.
About
I
7
want to
years
say.
ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere around in there.
Gotcha. That's cool. So it's the movies and everything have been out for a while and all that stuff,
Mhm.
and that's awesome. How long has that tattoo been growing on your arm?
I started this
Yeah.
probably a year before me and my wife started, or a year before my wife and I got married. I started it. It kind of helps when you have a tattoo artist that's a friend.
Yeah.
It kind of helps the pocketbook a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure. Yep. You get friend prices and stuff
yeah.
like that. And yep, that's cool.
So it took me about a year and a half to finish this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started working on my left arm, and then COVID happened, and I kind of lost touch with them after that. So,
okay.
But
stupid COVID.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Yeah, the Ghostbuster emblem that you have on there, when I was in school, in grade school, I remember drawing that. Like, that's when the movie first came out, and it was like the big thing, and I used to draw that all over. I love the Ghostbusters too, and who was it, Billy D or something like that? The song, the Ghostbusters theme song. Whenever I saw that on MTV, I really liked that too.
I can't even think of who sung that off the top of my head.
Let's find out. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Ghostbusters theme. Ray Parker Jr.
Ray Parker
Jr.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, because and MTV was kind of new at the time too, fairly new, and that video was one of the things. And they had Ray Parker Jr. and they brought in the scenes from the movie and stuff like that. So I was a big fan too. So that whole tattoo is just something I'm like, wow, that's cool, man. I really enjoy it. So I appreciate you sharing your tattoo with us. Have you played the Ghostbuster games? Because I just played one, and dude, I gotta say, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Are you talking the ones for the NES and because the NES ones are terrible.
Okay, I don't know. I played one. It came out. It was like free on Epic, like not too long ago. It was a Ghostbusters game on Epic.
Was it the remaster one?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't mind that one. I thought that one was all right. I thought it was cool to play as the rookie or whatever it was that you were playing as. That one was fun. I actually have the remaster for the Xbox One just hanging out back there.
Okay.
I don't get rid of any of my Ghostbusters stuff. So
okay.
But yeah, I still have that back there.
Got you. Yeah, I was looking at it. It is the remastered one. It's the Ghostbusters, the game remastered. It's not bad.
No.
It was I don't know. It was a little tough. I'm not used to the old school games. I'd have to play more of them like that.
That was my thing too. Like, if I were to go back and try to play Metal Gear Solid right now, even though it's like my favorite game, I know I'm gonna not be able to do it.
Right.
When I bought Sons of Liberty for the PlayStation 2, I was like, all right, I'm gonna jump in this and play it. And then I couldn't even play it because the controls are so bad.
Oh wow. That's funny.
Yeah.
And they don't have really a way to remap controls
No, they
or
don't.
do anything like that to make it easier. Yep.
Because even when we started playing Max Payne, I was like, let me go into these controls and see if I can, remap anything. And you couldn't.
Yeah.
And the sensitivity, at least you could adjust the sensitivity in Max Payne.
Yeah.
Because like it was set like when you started that even just the slightest movement of your analog stick, you'd like almost completely spin around. And I'm like, I can't play this. I can't do it.
Yeah. I tried to pick up, what was it? It was GTA San Andreas one time a while ago for the computer. It was a port, and the controls, I had to try to remap the controls on that, and I couldn't figure out what they all were. And every time I started at the very beginning, I had the main character, and it was just always just popping a wheelie on the bicycle, falling over and getting hurt. And it was just nothing but that. So I didn't play it a whole lot or very long. But yeah, it can be weird.
The new one, I think the controls were actually like when they remastered them. I think they redid the controls on them.
Yeah,
so
I'm pretty sure they did.
I'm hoping with this Max Payne remaster that's coming out that they're gonna they'll redo the controls and everything too.
How do you feel on these remasters? Like, what is your general thought on remasters?
I think it's good. Especially like with Max Payne, if you get these younger kids that like, oh, I don't want to. This game's too old. I don't want to play with it. It's almost like giving it a fresh coat of paint,
right?
In a way. And they're doing it with the thing is, if it's done right, it'll be good. It was such a beloved series on the PlayStation 2.
Right.
So that's going to be the big thing as long as it's done right.
Right. That's, I'm on the fence a little both ways with remasters in general for video games. And there's a few reasons. And it has to do with kind of what you said about it being done right. Like there's a lot of remasters. I feel that they just go out there and throw some graphic mods over and say it's remastered and then charge you another $30 for a 15-year-old game. And I think that's a bunch of BS. You could do that on a PC with just adding some graphic mods and stuff like that. They don't really affect or improve or update or do anything really to help the game out. I don't like that. How it feels like some of the remasters are along that bandwagon. But if they do a full-fledged, full-on remaster instead of just a re-release and like polish, then that type of stuff I think is amazing. How they kind of doing the new Final Fantasy one that came out on Epic. I think 7 got remastered. I'd like to go check that out because they did a full overhaul on that. And another thing too is I heard now that they're talking about doing a remaster for next gen consoles of Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's only a few, like 4 or 5 years old, and they're like, how come they're going to do a remaster? They're not even really supporting their online, and that's that kind of
like I wouldn't buy that. Game's not old enough, I don't think, to that
right. And I think that's just cash cow type stuff, dude.
Because all you're really going to be able to do with that game is smooth it out, like smooth out the graphics a little bit. That's all you're going to be able to
pump up the frames for the next gen consoles, and that's it, really. And we got RL Guardian says, "Oh my God, the GTA remasters are horrible." And that's I got a bone to pick with Rockstar.
Oh yeah. That game that came out broken.
Yeah.
I kind of waited.
I wish they'd have just done it in house.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And that's what they're probably going to do with the Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2 is they're probably going to outsource their remasters, and they're going to be rich. They're remastered by a phone gaming company. Well, that kind of makes sense, Guardian. So the rain looks like a Snapchat filter. Okay.
It does. It's bad.
Yeah. I think the other remaster that I played that I really liked, Saints Row the Third remaster.
Oh my gosh! Now you're talking. I love 3 and 4 just for the insanity of 3 and 4.
Absolutely, yeah. I really did too. Saints Row the 4 almost took it too much. Like I felt like 4 took it out of control, where you don't drive. Like you lost the driving aspect of the game because you're basically a superhero. But it was still fun.
I don't know though. Every time you're flying around and you've got the touch comes on, like. It just put a smile on my face.
That's true. Yep. Well, I'm anxious to see what they do with the next one.
I am anxious to see that because it looks like it's a complete reboot from what I've seen. So
right, they're kind of like going back to Saints Row and Saints Row 2, I think, as far as game design and feel, I believe.
I've played 2. I never actually got around to playing the first one because I never had an Xbox. So I might have to go. I
I
got a
played
360, so I might have
Mhm.
to go try and find a copy of 1 and play it.
Oh, that'd be cool. I'd definitely check that out and see. The Saints Row series is just a lot of fun how they've developed, and I like how they got the over the top humor with that
Yep.
game.
I thought I thought Get Out of Hell was a little over the top though. Did you
Yeah,
play
yeah.
that expansion? But
I didn't play it. I did play it. I didn't finish it. I played it maybe about a half an hour, and I was like, this is again just way too much. Like
yep.
this is like Saints Row 4, but then they just pushed that over the edge a little bit more than I was appreciating. But the gameplay, I did beat Saints Row 4 though, and I did play like beat it to a full 100% completion of everything because I did have fun. I just wish I was driving the car more.
And the thing with those games too, it's like I forget. Was it 3 with the alien? Yeah, 3 with the aliens. You had to pay attention to the trophy list because if you weren't paying attention to the trophy list, if you got so far into the game, you couldn't go back and re-earn those trophies. So that
Oh,
was
right.
like if you took over, I forget if you took over too many neighborhoods, you couldn't do the achievement of like what was it? Flip like taunting rival gangs or whatever. So you had to
Yeah.
like pay attention to what you were doing.
I don't recall exactly. I don't think I ran into that bug on that game, so I may have just been fortunate enough to do things in the correct order when I went and did that. But I do remember at the end of 3, the other thing I liked about 3, and probably 4 did this as well, is when you got completely done with the game, essentially you were invincible. It was like putting in a cheat code, and I thought that was cool. I was like, "Yep, they just made you like just crazy just to go wreck," and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Let's see. So for the console games that you're streaming, or the retro games that you're streaming, is there any way that you pick what games you're going to play, or is it
Just kind of what I'm feeling, I know one of the guys in my chat, Ninjo,
Mhm.
was like, when we were playing, I'm like, so when we finish this, I'll kind of put some feelers out there.
Okay.
What should we play next? And I was like, we can do PS1, PS2. You want to stay with GameCube, N64? And he said PS1. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna play some PS1 after we
Okay.
finish Enter the Matrix. So
how many retro consoles do you have?
um, so I have a PS2, a 360, a PS3. Um, I have a Nintendo and a Genesis, but the Nintendo and Genesis are in a closet. I've got
Mhm.
a Retron 5 that I use to stream the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Genesis because
Okay.
it'll do it all.
Okay.
And it'll even do Game Boy, so we could even stream Game Boy off of it.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Like
but
the old Game Boy stuff?
it'll do Game Boy Advance too. So,
Okay. That's cool.
and my GameCube has the Game Boy player on it too, so we can do GameCube that way too. I don't
Right.
like using the Game Boy player though because it kind of blocks off the screen and you get like it has borders on it.
Oh, right.
So I'd like using the Retron when we do that. We did Super Mario Land 2 and the 6 golden coins I think a couple months ago on the game for the Game Boy on it.
On the
So
Retron?
yep.
Okay. Now that sounds neat. That's a third party device,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
It's made by Hyperkin. Here, I got it right here. I can grab it.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Maybe I don't have it.
He says, I got it. Maybe not.
It's actually out in the living room. My nephew stayed with us a couple weeks ago and he came into my game room and he's like, "What can I play?" And I'm like, "Whatever you want, buddy." So we grabbed my Retron and my N64 and took it out into the living room and he was sitting there playing some Mario Kart and everything. So it's out in the
Okay.
living room. But it's got like and that Retron will do Famicom too. So it'll do the Japanese Nintendo games on it too.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Man, that's pretty awesome. I've never even heard or seen something like that. So that's cool. How many games do you have, man? Like retro games?
oh my gosh. I know I've got at least. Oh my gosh, I probably got 30 N64 games. Probably 30 NES games. 5 or 6 Genesis.
Is that whole shelf back there of retro
Here,
games?
let me get out of the way. So I just point it out to you if you want.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the top 2 rows are PS2.
Okay.
That's my play. The third row is my PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
The first bottom row is my PlayStation 1 and Vita. And then we got GameCube. Then I got Genesis right there.
Dang, okay.
That's my NES.
Yeah.
And then you got my N64 collection. And then my Super Nintendo. And then my DS collection. And some Game Boy games down there.
Okay.
So it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, and you can't really see it. I've got a little shelf with my Xbox stuff on it too. It's kind of hiding behind the Batman. My wife kind of put some of our clean clothes in here, so I'm kind of hiding it right now.
Right. You got the big Batman poster. That's cool. Now that third shelf, is that all games also? What's
what
the
this
one?
shelf?
Yeah, to your left. Yep.
That's my Spider-Man. That's my Spider-Man collection.
Okay, so you're a Spider-Man fan?
Oh yeah. Yep. It's all my Spider-Man Funkos.
Yep, I can see now. Yep.
I've got the Spider-Man PS4 Steelbook and the statue that came with the collector's edition.
Yeah.
And then I've got you can't really see what's up there, but that's all my Power Ranger, Green Ranger stuff up top.
Okay.
So
you're specifically a Green Ranger fan for Power Rangers?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The Dragon Dagger is actually signed by Jason David Frank too. So
nice.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like to just keep up with this stuff, and I come in here and it reminds me of my childhood.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's cool. You got
and
the
then
WWE stuff.
Yeah, if you look over here, you can kind of see. I've got a couple of replica belts, a couple of action figures on the wall.
Yeah.
And those are the real deal ones. Those are the ones that are made out of metal.
Okay. So what do they weigh? Like 10, 15 pounds?
Yeah, they're probably 10 pounds each.
Woo. You gotta have a stud finder to nail those bad boys up to the wall.
I did.
Yeah.
And then I've got a couple signed vinyls by my favorite band right there. So
Ice Night Killers?
Ice Nine Kills. Yep.
Okay.
And then my record player's right there, and then I've got a little there you go. That's my record collection right there.
Got you. Okay.
Cabinet.
Some vinyls, man.
Some vinyls, yeah.
This guy's going back to 1980s. He says, let's bring it.
I actually have some vinyls from 1980 in there. So
okay. Do you have a prized vinyl? Like something that your favorite one?
Probably I'd say those Ice Nine Kills one right now are probably my favorite, just because they're signed, and I do have another copy of each of them in my drawers, so I can, listen to them.
Got you, a listener, and then you got your display one.
Yep.
Do you prefer the vinyl?
I love the vinyl. I love the vinyl.
Like the little hissing and popping and just the extra stuff they got in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And that one's nice too, because I can just run the speakers straight through my Bluetooth speakers on my computer, so I don't even have to have an extra set of speakers in here. So
nice. Yeah, that's great. It's got the little vinyl. So this guy's all around retro. He says we do everything retro.
We do everything, man. All physical, no digital.
That's cool.
But
that's awesome. See, what kind of hat you got on there? This is USA.
Chicago Bears.
Bears. All right.
Bears.
The Bears.
I'm a Bears fan living in Wisconsin. I'm crazy.
Yeah. That sounds like almost a regular beatdown when you walk down the streets, right?
Yeah. I was born and raised in Illinois, though. So.
All over the board, man.
Yeah. I could actually walk out of my house and walk like 5 minutes, and I'm in Illinois. So I didn't go too far.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
But my wife's family's all Packer fans, so you can imagine how when that game happens, how it gets around the house. So
just right in the house itself. That's funny. Going to see, I've got relatives in upstate New York, and New York is odd for sports fans in a way. It has a little bit to do geographically with their teams, but for football, just for example, they've got 3 different football teams. I think 3, maybe 4. What is it? Buffalo Bills. You've got the New York Giants and the New York
Jets.
The Jets, yeah. Yep. So they got the 3 football teams, and you'll have people arguing about the better state football team that they got. Is funny. It's funny. Just being somewhere.
That's just kind of like Chicago too, having two baseball teams. You know, you got the
Yeah.
Sox and the Cubs, so
Yep.
that's kind of the same thing. So
Yep. And they got the hockey right there too. So you got the New York Rangers and you got the New Jersey
the Devils.
Devils. Yeah, and they play literally like right across the river from each other. So they've got that. Hi, Matt. What's she doing? You getting on podcast? She's um I'm just a local sports fan. I've been in Detroit and Michigan. I grew up here most of my life, but I went and saw the Detroit Red Wings play the New York Rangers in New York. I had the fortunate fortune of seeing them there play there, and it was actually the last game that Wayne Gretzky was
Oh, really?
signed. Yeah, he didn't suit up though. I didn't get to see him play. He was there though, but when they won that game, I was probably about maybe 20 seats up. We had really good seats there, and when we won in overtime and I jumped out of my chair, we being the Red Wings, and I'm in New York, and I jumped out of my chair just screaming. I'm like, yeah. And then I looked around and I was like, and just kind of put my hand down and like sat down. I was like, yeah, I can't yell here.
That's kind of like the time back when I was in high school, back when McGuire and Sosa were going after that home run record, and
Yeah.
Sosa got in trouble for that corked bat.
Oh yeah.
I went to Milwaukee. I'm a Cardinals fan.
Yeah.
So I went to a Brewers Cubs game, and me and one of my buddies had some signs that were, talking about Sosa's corked bat and everything.
Yeah.
And I almost got in a fight with a Cubs fan just walking out of the stadium that night.
Oh, I believe it. I
was like, man, you guys take this way too seriously. I love my sports, but
yeah,
I'm not going to try and fight somebody over having a disagreement about something.
Right. My parents live in upstate New York, like I said before, and they were going to Boston, Massachusetts for something. And there was a sporting event going on at the time, but and it was a big rivalry between. It was probably Boston and New York as far as the baseball teams go, but they didn't have anything to do with the sports at all. They just saw a New York license plate in Massachusetts, and they started swearing. People were honking and swearing at them, flipping them off, telling them to go home, and just all kinds of mean stuff. And it's crazy how these sports fans get. It's wild. I got Met just going crazy here.
Well, what is it? And maybe some of the Europeans can talk about the hockey, or not the hockey, their football, and how I've heard they had certain teams have to sit in certain sides of the stadium or whatever because of fights.
Probably. Right. Yeah. They probably have guest sections. I know with the soccer and things like that. And, they go out of control there. There's worse sport fans than United States people, I guess. All right, man. Got off track a little. Well, I guess there's no track at all.
There's no track at all. We're just hanging out talking.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I don't know, man. Mep over here, one of my cats is really kind of. I don't know why she's so insistent. I think she wants to hang out and get pats. So I'm gonna have. Come here.
Oh, I'm shocked. I'm shocked you can't hear my dog whining at the door. She's got severe separation anxiety.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of dog do you have?
She's a pit mix. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Mixed with what? Do you know?
We don't know. We adopted her. So,
okay.
We don't know what she is, but we went and we actually got her a couple months ago, and we've been looking, and we went to a couple different shelters, and we found her, and she was the last one we looked at. All the other dogs would jump at my son and kind of twitch, and she was the only one that didn't.
Oh, okay.
And she's been so good with them. So
okay. We got it's Nova 219. It says, "Aw, a little pitty mix. They're so cute."
Here, give me 1 second. I'll go get her. So you.
All right, yeah,
her.
yeah. Let's take a look. We'll get the pitty mix. Thank you for popping in. It's Nova 219.
Open the door.
Just open the door. Uh-oh, dog comes in.
I had locked the door because my son will come just start running in here.
Oh, okay. He's got a 2-year-old son. He's a fairly recent father.
Come here, girl.
Oh,
Come here. Whoa.
Uh-oh. There we go. The whole family.
Oh.
Oh, look at her. All right.
So this is Dahlia. You can see my
Yeah.
wife kind of chilling in the background
Yep.
back there.
She says, I'm leaving. I'm hiding.
And then this is James. This is my baby boy.
Hello,
You
James.
say hi, Bubba. Yeah. Okay.
Like,
All
all
right, Bubba.
right, this is
All right.
super
Go
exciting.
brush your teeth. So that's my little family right there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long have you had the dog?
Couple months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you
We,
went to the shelter, you said?
Yep. We went to a couple different humane societies, and she was the one that stole our hearts. So,
Oh, that's great. And how old is your dog?
she's they told us she's 4,
Yeah.
but I think she's a little bit younger than that because she's got a lot of energy. A lot of energy.
So, fairly recent father, 2-year-old child, and a young dog.
Yep.
Keeping your hands full.
Yep. Never a dull moment. And he's going to be and that was another thing with the whole retro games was like, I can tell he's going to be a gamer. I have like one of my old headsets. He'll put it on.
Yeah.
And like one of my old controllers, he'll just carry around and like,
Okay.
act like he's playing.
Yeah.
And he loves watching like Mario videos on YouTube.
Okay. So
yeah, he's
pro
gonna
gamer. Look out, esports.
And I think it would be cool, like when he gets to be a teenager, to be able to show him, like, you know, from the time, if he's into gaming, to show him what it was like from the time when I was, you know, a young kid up to where we're at now.
Right.
So, and you know, a lot of these kids nowadays too, with these whole digital consoles that are coming out, they're going to run into the whole Nintendo situation, what they're going through right now with them shutting their stores down, and then you can't get your games again.
Physical games. You're saying
not physical games, the digital games. So if you buy,
right,
because they're shutting the 3DS and the Wii U store down.
Oh, okay.
So you know you won't be able to get those games anymore come next year when the store shuts down completely.
Yeah. So the people that already have a purchased digital copy, are they going to still be able to retrieve their games, or is that pretty much gone? Like,
I have no idea how that's going to work.
Right.
I would assume they would almost have to have some way to be able to get them again.
Yeah, you'd think they should support that somehow, but I don't think they necessarily have to. I don't think there's a legal way for them to do that. I bought a game that I was super excited and had a lot of fun with. That was based off of the Spore game. It was called Dark Spore. And Dark Spore, the idea was you could co-op and create your spores in different crazy ways and stuff, and go and battle them against other ones and go through these procedurally generated levels and stuff. And the only way to play it was through EA's servers, and they took down their servers only a few years after the game was out. And I was like, well, the game's now worthless, like essentially. And yeah, that's really unfortunate. I didn't know that Nintendo was doing that.
That is why I locked the door, because now he's not wanting to leave.
Looks like the challenge has been maybe done. I don't know.
He's what time? Oh, it's he's got like 7 minutes, and she's gonna work on putting him to sleep.
Oh, okay. So it's Nova 219 says she could be a Pity and German Shepherd, possibly.
She could be. I'm going to get the DNA test done so we know exactly what she's mixed with. So,
what's the reasoning for getting the DNA test?
Just so I know what else she's mixed with. You can see the pit in her face.
Yeah.
We just don't know what the other, because she's leaner than a pit bull, but she has the build of a medium-sized dog. So
yeah. That's cool. That's interesting. How much does that run to do a DNA test?
I don't know. I talked to the vet about it, and they're like, we don't do it. You have to order a kit online to do it. And I think she said it was like $30 or something like that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
that's not too bad.
No, it would be just more out of curiosity for me.
Right. So I'd imagine there's a blood sample involved with that. Would you be going to the vet then to get the sample once you have the kit?
I think
is that something you'll just...
I think they told me I just got to swab the mouth with it.
Oh, but that's great. That'd be good.
They said if they wanted a blood blood, like if they needed a blood sample, I could go and they would get me a blood sample and send it in if they needed that instead.
Okay. That's cool because I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that. We've got a cat that we had for a little over a year and a half. Her name's Beanie,
Mm-hmm.
and we think that she might be part like wildcat, part serval or something like that. Like maybe fifth or sixth generation down the line. But
Uh-huh.
that might be something we could do with the cat too. Is run a DNA test to see what kind of wild gene she might have or how far removed. That'd be kind of neat to see. Do you have other pets?
Just Dahlia and the ball python. That's it.
Okay. Do you have a name for your ball python?
His name's Cade after Cade 6 from Destiny 2.
there's your gamer naming them
Yeah.
after the Destiny 2. That's awesome.
And when we adopted her name was Dahlia, and we liked it so much that we kept it.
Kept Dahlia. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And if she's old, she might be familiar with that name too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Yeah, we've got a little zoo over here. We've got 2 red-eared sliders, 3 cats, a dog.
Oh wow, you got a full house.
Yeah. The bearded dragon and a ball python.
Got a nice little variety.
Yeah, a little menagerie. We've got a lot of animals to keep up after.
Hey.
Getting into trouble back there?
Yeah, she just knocked my Game Boy off my shelf. Crazy dog.
Yes, indeed. So after you get done with Matrix, you said you're not sure what you're going to be getting into then?
I think we're going to do PlayStation 1. I don't know what yet.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe Siphon Filter if I can find a copy of 1 because I have 2, 3 and Omega Strain, so I'm just missing Dark Mirror and the first one. So if I can I might go this weekend and see if I can find a copy of 1. So we'll see if I can do that.
Siphon Filter.
I know at some point I want to do a full Zelda run. Now that I'm caught up to the GameCube, I'm thinking I want to do a full Zelda run at some point.
And what do you mean by full Zelda run?
Starting from Zelda on the NES and going all the way up to Twilight Princess on the GameCube.
Ooh, buddy. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a project. How long do you think that'll take, man?
I have no idea, but it sounds like fun.
Right.
Oh.
The original Zelda, that game was a lot of figuring out because I played that before they had the hint books and all that stuff too. And oh my god, we used to get graph paper and write down the actual rooms and dungeon rooms and where they went and stuff like that, and map out our own maps. So we made our own maps to Zelda when we played that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was hardcore because it was hard. Like couldn't figure it out. My dad actually played that game too, so that was like little kids were playing with their dad and stuff. So that was a lot.
I love watching these YouTubers that'll go through and show you like how extremely hard video game series, and the guys are showing you all the glitches in the game on how to beat it like super easy.
Yeah, yep.
Like I was watching one earlier today on this guy was like, Mega Man isn't really that hard. And he's like, all you got to do is you do this, and then when you get to the boss, you fire, and then you rapidly press. I forget what he called it, but you kept pressing the start button after it hit the guy, and it would do like 3 hits instead of 1. He's like, wow. He's done after a couple hits, and then you're on to the next one.
Right. Finding the glitches. Yeah, that was the interesting part about the old games too. With as far as the old physical copy games that they had, the discs and whatnot, is they had to make the game complete. And whatever they shipped it out as, that's how it was.
Yeah.
So if there's
you're not patching it. It's
no patches, no updates, no fixes. So you had to make sure it was good to begin with, and any bugs stayed. And that's how a lot of that speedrun stuff happens. They find glitches and bugs and stuff. Do you try to do any of that stuff?
I haven't. I don't think I'm talented enough to do any of that.
Okay.
I'd like to try speedrunning something sometime, but I'd have to actually sit down and get familiar with a game before I would try and do it.
Right. Those are people spend hours mastering those and trying to master them and trying to master.
And,
I don't
and
see
if I were to
myself
do
doing
that, it'd be me taking time away from, because then I'm like, I'd be having fun, but I wouldn't be having fun at the same time.
Right.
Because I'm like, I got to get this so I can try and get the best time possible instead
Right.
of just like hanging out and having a good time with everybody.
Yeah. Yep. I feel like I'd probably get that way trying to do speed runs too. And I don't know. I'd rather enjoy the game than bang my head against it 2,000 times to try to get that best speed or whatever it might be.
I mean, if like I'm playing like a racing game or something, like if I notice I'm like a half a second off or something, I might be like, okay, what do I need to do to improve that time to get this, fast time, and then go try it a couple of times. But
right, maybe to get like the gold medal or whatever it might be, the achievement or the completion. Right, I might do that too and try to master the level as far as how they have for their mastering system, whatever they might have for that. I might go and redo levels and stuff that way, but to get the very best, I don't know.
No. And then you get those one levels you just, it takes you forever, you beat it and you're like, I'm done. I'm not I beat it. I'm not doing any more. On to the next one.
Yep. Forget that. I'm not trying. I got bronze just enough to get by, and it was a pain in my butt, so I'm done.
It lets me move on to the next level. Let's go to the next level.
That's right. Maybe later if we want 100%, we'll come back, but not before. Those are funny. Do you have any games or big time glitches that you've come across or noticed like that stick out in your mind?
Not that I've really played. I did have. There's a clip up on my Hover account where we were playing Fall of Cyber? One of the Transformers.
Do you have two monitors?
I do have two monitors.
Okay, because you can share a second web browser with the StreamYard at the bottom. Okay. You can share that, and you can share it with audio. There's a little checkbox. You go down and hit share and share screen.
Share screen.
You can do Chrome tab if you want just a specific tab or a specific window or the entire screen. But on the Chrome tab, you have an option to share audio if you're using Chrome.
Oh, I just got the Windows Edge.
Okay. You may be able to share the whole screen and then share your system audio that way if you want, or
let's see, screen 2. There we go. Screen 1. There we go. Share.
Let me know when you're ready to put this up for people to see.
So we were playing Transformer. I'm just gonna load up my Twitch. I got it on my Twitch.
Okay, perfect.
I was playing Fall of Cybertron and I beat the game. I beat the boss at the very end. And the game basically just gave me the middle finger at the end of the game.
Oh no!
And I had to do it over.
Oh no!
Let me see. Where's it at? Video.
So as far as a do-over moment, I had one of those too playing on my old NES. And I remember back in the day, the NES too is like we had to get it lined up just right because they lost connection, and we'd be wiggling the cartridge. We had to even use like a tablespoon so it'd wedge underneath there and have the cartridge pushed down just enough where it would connect and we could play games because we wore them out. We played them so much. But there was the Mike Tyson's Punch-Out we were playing, and I was battling Mike Tyson to win the game. And I just needed one more punch to get the technical knockout. And I went for the super uppercut punch. So my guy's like winds way back. And then he circles around. And then the time ran out, like right before his fist connected with Mike Tyson's jaw for the technical knockout. And I lost. I lost by decision. I was so mad because Mike Tyson was not easy to beat. and I ended up beating him eventually, like later on down the road. The other time I was going to win was this is like the second, like it took me 3 times to actually beat him. The second time I was going to beat him, my mom was calling for supper, saying it was ready for like a half an hour. And I'm like, just a minute, I'm almost to the boss. And she got so mad, she just came up and unplugged it from the wall while I was about to beat Mike Tyson. I was like, oh, well, that's how.
All right, I got it ready.
All right, let's add this up there. Let's check this out.
Here we go. So this is right at the very end. This is the final scene of the game.
Okay.
Optimus Prime grabs his axe, and I failed the mission.
Oh no, dude.
I was like, "What?"
Oh.
And then he knew that Claymore guy knew the game was over, and he was like, "What just happened?" I'm like, "I don't know what happened, but we didn't finish the game."
That's
So
so weird.
yeah, but yeah, that's really the only glitchy one I've had happen so far.
Okay. Yeah, it's not even too terrible. Like,
No.
I don't know, you're running a crap like that all the time. I happened to be yesterday playing Guild Wars 2 with my wife. We were in a mission together, and for some reason it said my mission was complete and hers wasn't. And we were on the exact same mission. Like, we killed the guy, and she's like, "Oh, you still got to kill the guy." So we had to reload that mission. But yeah, that's weird.
But it was just, and but it was a rough fight, and I was just like, "You've got to be kidding me! I have to do this all over again."
What about? Did you end up doing it? Did you?
Oh
you
yeah,
do the
we
fight
did it.
over?
We did it.
Okay.
I'm like, "Oh, I'm not going out like this."
I got you.
So
did it take you more than one try for that?
No, I got it the next try.
The next try, perfect.
That last try, that try that I got it on, I figured out the strategy on what I had to do.
Oh, okay. So you pretty much had the technique mastered.
Yeah.
Perfect. We had oh, what was I gonna say? I forget. That's all right. I know what I was gonna say. It was gonna be having to do with the retro games and things like that, because I've got something in mind that I'm thinking of. But have you run into any interesting Easter eggs in any of the retro games?
Not really. I mean, to be honest, I'm not really looking for them. If I find them, I mean, I knew about the ones in like Grand Theft Auto and everything, but as far as any of the other ones, I haven't really found any.
I found one on accident in Max Payne, actually, and you
did
playing
you?
that game reminded me of that. Yeah, there's a spot where you can climb out of a window and walk on a ledge and go into another room next to the room that you're in. I don't know exactly where.
I know exactly which one you're talking about,
and it's that memorial room, right?
Yep.
The first time I saw that, it creeped me out, but it's an Easter egg.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, because one of the guys in my stream was like, "Hey, if you turn here and go back this way, there's something back there for you to find." I'm like, "Okay, let's go back and find it."
Yeah. Another weird thing I found similar to that, as far as like a discovery, and I don't know if it's so much of an Easter egg, was in Red Dead Redemption 2. And I was playing the online part of it, and I went down into the cellar to explore this little area, and it ends up being the cellar of a serial killer, and there's just murder parts and just crazy stuff. Like I did not expect to see that in there. It was like, oh, okay.
Well, it was just like I was streaming The Godfather one night, and I went into the morgue, and I went to the mortician, and I picked him up, and you can just beat up whoever you want in the game. And the crematorium is like right next to like in the room or whatever. I picked him up, I dragged him over, and I started banging him against like the edge of the crematorium.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, actually, I have that clip.
Okay.
Let me open. And you throw him into the crematorium.
the mortician.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was just like, what is going on here?
Right.
Let me see. It kind of threw me off. It's right here.
All right. You want me to pull it up?
Yep. You can pull it up.
Okay. Oh, it's still up there. That's why. All right.
Here we go.
Hey, we'll do it like this. Dang. And that looked like it's a scripted animation for you to do that. Like, hey, we're going to program this in for you to just throw the guy in there. That's wild.
Just like Scarface. Little random stuff like that. You know?
That's so funny. What game was that? What console was that on?
360.
Okay.
Yeah. I try to vary it up from time to time to play different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then somebody was like, "Hey, you should do Max Payne," and then Max Payne turned into Enter the Matrix, and this time we're finishing Enter the Matrix. So, and then we'll go on to something else. I can get ADD sometimes and be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh well, we played this. Let's go try something else." And I got to really get better at sticking to my guns on. We're gonna play this all the way through.
Got you. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a completionist so much on some games. Like I've beaten and completed a lot of games, but the number of games I have not is way more.
Mm-hmm. Like all of my N64 games, there's probably only a handful of them I've actually played. So,
right. So you've got a whole library to go through then. So like your content for your Twitch stream is
we're
hours and hours and hours.
And I've been
like
telling people when we started playing Enter the Matrix, I was like, guys, if you haven't played this before, you're experiencing it the same way I am for the first time. Right. So and I've had some guys been like, how do you feel about backseat gaming? I'm like, if I can't figure it out, you're more than welcome to, if I ask for help, you can help me. But the minute you tell me anything about the story, then we're going to have a problem.
Right. It's like, hey, you got to keep your mouth shut. You're spoiling it here. No spoilers, but a little backseat help if I'm stuck.
Yep.
That makes sense. That's almost like how you do when when we played back in the day and we didn't have, the internet and networks, we'd be playing a single player Nintendo game with your buddies and you just take turns, you'd pass the controller back and forth and maybe try to help each other out with things and stuff like that.
Or you play until you die. And then when you die, then you hand the controller off again.
Yep. Those were fun. That was a lot of fun. I guess, on your form that you filled out for the, for the calendar when you scheduled, there's a few more questions that you had on there, and you put that you're into RC cars as well. Is that something you're still doing?
I don't have the time for it anymore.
Okay.
And it's expensive. If you know anything about RC cars, they're expensive.
Yeah, like the legit ones. Like did you get into racing and stuff? And
I didn't get into racing, but I have a couple nitro powered ones. Mm-hmm. I've got a nitro powered monster truck, and then I can tell you what they are. It was HPI Bullet was the monster truck, and then I have it's an HPI RS4 Evo Plus, I think is what it is, and that's an actual car, and that one goes 65 miles an hour.
Does it run off of gasoline?
It runs off nitro fuel.
Nitro fuel. Okay.
Yeah, it's not gasoline, but
okay. It's a liquid fuel.
Yeah, it's a liquid fuel.
So it's a motor that a combustion engine.
Mm-hmm. And then I have this little 18th scale one. It's a Losi Mini 8. It's a buggy. And what I did was my buddies and I call it my Frankenstein because I took a 10th scale. This one's electric. I took a 10th scale motor and shoved it into this 18th scale car and put a bigger ESC on it and everything. And you can't even pull the trigger without it just like backflipping.
So 10th scale motor in an 18th scale car. Essentially what you're doing is putting a motor for a car that's almost twice the size.
Yep.
Right. So the car is almost half as small as it's supposed to be for that motor. I'm amazed that thing has traction to flip itself over. It doesn't just burn out the tires. The thing just goes.
It did. It had buggy tires on it, and I ended up putting like regular road because they make the different tires. You had the buggy tires, the regular car tires. I ended up putting 10th scale car tires on it just because.
So it'd grip.
Because I would burn out buggy tires in one session, and I couldn't afford to keep buying buggy tires.
Oh my goodness!
I'll have to. They're in my garage. When I get a chance, I'll get them out and I'll send you pictures of them.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Look forward to seeing it. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, that was my big hobby for a long time. Trying to think what else. What else am I really doing right now? Really, just right lately, it's just focusing on my son, and we went to the zoo yesterday. That was a lot
Okay,
of fun.
that's awesome. Was it the
Yeah.
Milwaukee Zoo?
Yep, the Milwaukee Zoo. Yep.
Okay.
They had, and it was so cool when we got there. We went and saw the seals, and a baby
Yeah.
seal was born 2 hours before we got at the zoo.
Oh
So we got
wow.
to see the baby seal swimming around with its mom and everything. That was
Oh
pretty
man,
cool.
that's awesome. Did you take pictures and stuff?
Oh yeah, I got pictures
Oh,
of it.
oh yeah, that's great. Zoo time. And the spring is awesome because the animals and stuff are so active.
The problem is everything was pregnant when we were like the lady couldn't confirm that but they had the red pandas all blocked off.
Yeah.
She's like,
Okay.
we cannot confirm that they're pregnant or not, but nobody can go near them.
Just in case.
Yep. All the otters were locked away because half of them were pregnant.
Ooh. They're gonna have to double their zoo size, man.
Yeah. So fun though.
That's-
James got to see the hippo, and he loves the hippos. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
That is cool. They got a pretty good zoo near here, the Detroit Zoo, and that's
Mhm.
fun to go to. We were there. This was many years ago now, but I was there in the early spring, and the animals I don't think were pregnant yet. The tiger was in heat. She was yelling like, "Roar." You could hear her way across the zoo. I felt a little bit bad for her. The Wolverines though, they were getting busy. They were making spring babies, and there was a little a family that came by while we were watching them, and Wolverines getting it on does not look far off from Wolverines trying to kill each other. It looks almost the same. The noises are almost the same, but it's not the same. And the guy's like, "Oh, look, the Wolverines are fighting," and I'm like, a little elbow nudge. They're not fighting. And he's like, whoop, cover his kid's eyes. Let's go look at something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess another thing is I've got a motorcycle, so that's kind of something to do, when it's nice out too. So
Definitely.
I got
You don't get to use that bad boy a whole lot though, being in the northern states.
No. It just now started to get nice,
Yeah.
to the point where you could get it out.
Yep.
I got an 07 Yamaha V-Star 650, so we got a nice little cruiser to roll around on.
Okay, I'm gonna pull that up. Let's take a look at this. You said it was a Yamaha what?
V-Star, and it's a 650.
All right, let's that bad boy right there.
Yep, just like that, except mine's silver.
Okay.
If you were to type in Silverado, you could actually see what my bike looks like. Yep, except for it's more like the second row, third one. That's my bike. Yep.
Okay.
That's exactly what mine looks like.
That's cool. So yours has the double seat on the back with the backrest?
Yep.
Nice. Do you have the saddlebags and stuff on it too?
I do have. They're a little worn out, but yeah, they have the saddlebags on it.
Okay, so that's a stock saddlebag for that bike, then, huh? That's nice.
My bike came from near the Gulf of the Gulf of Mexico, so like it didn't do the saddlebags didn't hold up too well.
Okay.
From the weather down there and the salt being in the air. But
right, that didn't affect the other parts or anything so much.
There's a little issue around the master cylinder up by the handlebars, but other than that, no.
Okay.
So, it's a fun little bike to just putz around town.
Yeah, that looks
especially
cool.
With the way gas prices are right now. Just putzing back and forth to work on that thing will save me money this year. I have a feeling.
Oh, I believe it. And you'll enjoy it too. Did you just recently get the bike then?
I actually got it 2 years ago. My wife's grandfather passed away, and he left me the bike.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
That's
so cool. I'm gonna fix it up and get it get it looking real nice again. So
Nice.
that's the plan. Whenever I can find time to do it.
Right. Between the family and work and retro gaming and
Everything
right.
in between.
Somewhere in there we'll renovate the motorcycle. That's
Yep.
cool though. That's a nice
Yeah.
looking bike. If I was cruising, that's the type of thing I'd look
Mhm.
for, is a bike similar to that. Let's see. So, is there a reason you're doing the consoles as opposed to using emulators?
I mean, emulators are fine, but I don't know, just something about opening the thing up and you hear the when you close
Yeah.
it, and I mean, I'm not against it, but like I was saying earlier, the whole preservation of everything, if
Yeah.
you can play it on the emulator, but you don't get to open it up, you don't get the whole, open it up and you can see the manual and
Right. Look through the book and have the
look through the
loading
book.
sound and
Yes.
have the machine starting up and all that stuff. That makes sense. And you're actually using the console's controllers and not whatever you have plugged in for your PC controller and
Yep.
things like that. Yep, there you go. So you get the whole experience. That's perfect.
The only thing different is with my N64, I have what's Retro Fighters released a brawler. It's called a Brawler 64.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of the analog stick being in that wonky spot it is in the N64, it's more like, it kind of looks more like my Wolverine here. Just picture this one not being here.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what my N64 controller looks like.
Okay.
So,
Where did they have the analog stick on the N64 control normally? That was right in the center, wasn't it?
So this is if you win the giveaway, this is the one you're getting, but this is the N64 controller.
Okay. Yep.
So I don't know. I'm just not a fan of like having to keep my hand like that. But
Yeah. Yep. That makes more sense too. It's easier just to switch back and forth between the D-pad and the analog with that other controller layout. That definitely was an awkward layout for the controller. They didn't have everything right back then.
No, but they did the best they could with what they had. So
Absolutely, yeah. And those were relatively new at the time. The analog on the sticks, before that it was just D-pad and buttons.
Yeah,
and not a lot of analog input.
Because even the PlayStation 1 didn't release with analog buttons, or not analog buttons, D-pads. So
right,
or not. No, I'm right. Analog sticks.
Yep. Yeah, because you got the sticks, and then you've got the analog buttons too that have like the trigger buttons. The old games didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
I started out on Atari, which was just one button and a stick.
Yep.
That's wild.
But I'm gonna have to get another shelf soon and figure out where I'm gonna put it, because I'm running out of GameCube space. That whole GameCube shelf's almost full now, so I'm gonna have to either move my Genesis somewhere or get another shelf. So going out too, and the thrill of the hunt of going out and looking for something, and then you find it, because with the whole Zelda series, I was like, I refuse to buy this online. If I'm going to spend this kind of money on a video game, I want to be able to go, open it up, look at it, make sure everything's all good.
Right.
And that's what I did. I held off for quite a while finding all those Zelda games. And when I did, I bought them all.
So do you ever call ahead and be like, hey, do you guys have this? Or do you prefer to just go in and explore?
Sometimes I'll call, but I prefer to just I'll go down and check it out on the weekends. Me and James will go down and we'll walk around for a little bit and see if there's anything in there.
Okay.
And
that sounds like it. Go ahead.
Sometimes I'll go to one. If I know one I know is not going to have it, I'll go try one of the different stores. Because sometimes I love this one store, but sometimes you get the wrong guy on the phone and you try to talk to him, and he's kind of a jerk off when you talk to him on the phone.
Right. So, they don't really want to help you out or something, right? They just want to get you off the phone and
you're going to make me go look for this.
Right. You're like, yeah, that's why I'm calling, buddy. Yep. I could definitely picture that.
I know the stores that if I'm going for, let's say I'm looking for GameCube, I know which store I'm going to go to for the
Yeah.
GameCube. And I know
Okay.
what store I'm going to go to if I want a new, like an NES game or a PS2 game.
Okay.
Or like go to a store. Okay, this one has a lot of PlayStation 2 games, but they're all sports games. So I don't really want to go to this one. I'm going to go to this one.
Okay.
So
Do you have a favorite genre of game that you play then?
probably shooters.
Okay.
I just love shooter games. I didn't get to play a lot of shooter games growing up. My parents were so against, shooting games that all I ever really got to play was racing games.
Okay.
But once I was able to start buying my own games, I started buying shooters and playing shooters. So
Got you. All right. So you start out with like the racing and probably sports games and
yeah,
stuff like that. Is there any that you stay away from that you don't really play?
I don't really play sports games now.
Okay.
Unless it's like NFL Blitz. I'll play NFL Blitz all day, but
Mm-hmm.
you try to get me
NFL
to
Blitz, is that a retro one?
Yeah, that's the one where it was like you could like power bomb the players and do all that crazy stuff with them.
Yep.
I'm horrible at Madden. You try to if you play me in Madden, you're gonna beat me because I'm horrible.
Okay. My first football game I really loved was Tecmo Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, I did play 10-yard fight and stuff like that, but Tecmo Super Bowl was definitely the game to play back in the day. That was a lot of fun.
What was it? There was one on the I think it was Madden 96 on the I forget, excuse me, which one it was on the Genesis, but you could just run the same, like you'd get the ball and you could just run the same play over and like you just run to the sideline and chuck the ball down the sideline and you score a touchdown every single time.
Yeah. Yep, they had players like that on that one too. Like the hookup, there's a couple ways you could do it. Like Joe Montana to Jerry Rice was almost like a Hail Mary connection every time. And no matter where you're at, you could just run Joe Montana all the way back down the field. He's like, all right, I'm in the end zone. Just throw it to Jerry Rice.
Yep.
And like, didn't matter. I think Walter Payton, if you had him as a running back, like he was almost unstoppable. So there's a few plays and characters and stuff like that. And the Lions were terrible to play, that being my hometown, but I think they had Barry Sanders maybe at the time or something. And you could almost do stuff with them. They still couldn't block for shit.
Like the only sports games I have right now is because I bought a bundle on eBay or on Whatnot. And for the bundle, they had one game that I like, one or two games I wanted, and they threw the sports game in there.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, this is just getting added to the collection.
Right. It'll sit there and
it'll just sit there.
Yeah. What about the WWE though, man? I see your wrestling stuff. You don't get into those games?
I have some. I have the ones on the N64. And then I've got one for the PlayStation 3, but it's somewhere, and it's signed by MVP. So it's kind of put away right now. I have to figure out where it is.
Got you.
Those old N64 wrestling games were the best.
They were. Yeah, I remember playing those a lot, with the Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan and, all the old Macho Man. And I got into, I haven't played a wrestling game since probably those games until just a couple weeks ago when I picked up WWE 2K22, the 2K game. And I love it. I love it. The customization, all the stuff they got is so much fun.
I've been meaning to pick it up. I've heard good things about it. I didn't pick up the last one because of how bad of reviews it got.
Right.
And then I heard this one kind of redeemed itself a little bit. So eventually I'm going to pick it up one of these days.
Now, racing games, do you get into those, having been an RC car driver or anything like that? Is that something you go towards or no?
Yeah, I'll play some racing games. I've got Forza on my computer, so I'll play some Forza every once in a while.
Yeah. The Horizon or the regular Forza?
Yeah, the Horizon. Okay. I was big into Gran Turismo when I was younger.
Okay. Gran Turismo was probably like an equivalent of Forza in a way. Not the Horizon, but the other Forza, where
the motorsport.
It was more of a realistic racing game as far as the the different mechanics and physics and stuff.
I remember getting 2 and grabbing my dad and be like, Dad, look how real this looks. And then now you look at the way it looks now, and it's like, how did I ever think this looked realistic?
Oh, I know. And I bet you run into a lot of that on those old games too, like the stuff that they thought was new technology at the time, and it was great.
Yeah.
One thing I remember for that technology emerging moment was watching Splinter Cell, playing the first Splinter Cell, and they actually added movement to things like drapes and curtains where you could touch them and they'd move. And it doesn't look realistic at all. You know, it flops and flows.
But they still put it in there.
Yeah. And it, you know what? It looked way better than anything else they had because they didn't have anything else. It was the first time they had that technology going, and it was so cool to kind of see. And having light rays and stuff like that and just different stuff. It's kind of cool. Going back into old games and seeing hints of early technology.
I will say probably, though, one of my favorite racing games is the Cruisin' series.
Yeah.
On the N64, just because, you know, you could go to the arcade and you could play it.
Yes.
And then you could come home and play it on your system.
Yep. That Cruisin' was a good game. Those were fun.
I'm still trying to find a copy of Cruisin' Exotica. That's the only one. I've got Cruisin' World and Cruisin' USA, and I can't find Exotica anywhere yet. So
someday.
That's on my list.
Do you have a list?
I have a list of games that like in my head. I don't actually have it written down.
Oh, okay.
But Cruisin' Exotica is definitely on there. There's I've got 2 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games for the GameCube. I'm missing the first one. So that's on my list. I don't even know what it's called, but I'm missing it and it's bugging me.
Yeah.
I don't have any Mario games on the GameCube, so that's on my list too.
Okay.
Just like the little and with the PlayStation, it's just trying to find the stuff that I had when I was younger. There's still some stuff I'm missing, so.
Oh, okay. So you're rebuilding your old collection.
Yeah. The PlayStation would be me rebuilding my library. The N64 and all that is just me getting into it over the last couple years. So
yeah, getting stuff that you find fun or enjoyable or want to play and stuff.
Because I could go to my friend's house and play the N64, and they would come to my house to play, you know, the PlayStation stuff. So
yep. That's kind of how we did it too. Is like one person had one console, another person had another console, and like depending on what you wanted to play that day is whose house we were going to hang out at. Yep. So
exactly
we
how it was.
Too. Yep. I had like a Nintendo. My buddy had the PlayStation. Someone else had a Sega. You know, and it's just different stuff. Yep. So that's cool. The shooter games. Are you getting some of those shooters that you couldn't play before?
I've got. Let me see. Not really. I've got a couple on the PlayStation 2. I'm kind of fortunate too. I've got a guy at work that also collects retro games, and if he sees something I want, he'll text me and be like, "Hey, you need this one?" And I'll be like, "Yeah," and he'll pick it up for me. And I have all the Metal Gears now. That was my big thing. Was okay. I need to make sure I at least have the original Metal Gear, Guns of the Patriots, Snake Eater. Just to make sure I had those. So,
and were those games that you weren't allowed to play?
Oh no, I was allowed to play Metal Gear, like war games. I was allowed. I could kind of get away with playing, but like if I were to go play something graphic like Scarface, when I got Scarface, I actually had to hide it from my mom for the longest time that I actually had it.
Right, you're like, yep, we'll have to play this on the DL. She's not.
Yep. Wait till they go to bed.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I had cassette tapes that were like that. We had like, the vocals and stuff where they had the swearing. It's like, okay, I'm not allowed to listen to this, and I'd have a dubbed copy of this tape hidden under my whatever.
I was the same way.
Yep, it's so funny.
And the worst part was when my brother would rat me out on something, and then my mom he'd come in and show her where I'd stash it, and then she'd take them all away. Oh yeah, my brothers were narcs.
Oh, are they older or younger?
They're younger. I've got one that's 30. I'm trying to think. So I'm 36, so he's 31. Yeah. And then I got another brother that's 26.
Okay. And just as far in general, usually it's the older brother who gets, that gets all that stuff, and then they usually lay off and be a little bit easier on the younger siblings. They're like they're harder on the older one because it's their first kid.
That's
usually.
exactly how it was.
Yeah.
Like my middle brother could go do something and then I would get in trouble for it. Like I wasn't even around.
Right. Did you have any moments like that for gaming where your brothers would get you in trouble?
Not really.
Yeah.
Because the thing was, I actually. This is my PlayStation 2 from when I was a kid.
Okay, you got the original one from the one you owned. It still operates and functions?
Still operates, functions, and when I got that for Christmas, we had to share it.
Yeah, yep.
So, if they ratted me out on that, then they might not have a game that they wanted to play. So
got you. Yep. Okay, that's too funny. That's how our games were when I was younger. I have an older brother who's 3 years older than me, and any consoles and games we got, it was all shared.
Yep.
We had to share it, and when we'd get into fights over it and stuff, because I'd have friends over, he had friends over, they wanted to play, and yeah, it was. My mom probably hated that thing, but we did okay for the most part.
That's pretty funny. I got something cool too. Look at this. Check this out.
Oh shoot! He's got the DualShock 2 controller in the package from PlayStation. Look at that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I bought that. I was like, man, I'm sick of buying like all these crappy used controllers.
Yeah.
That the buttons don't work on, and I was like, I found that one, and I'm like, okay, I'll buy that, and then I got the backwards compatible PS3, so I haven't even needed that anymore. Need this anymore. So that might just sit in the package.
There you go.
Just let it sit there. So
all right, and then you might need it and bust it out one day.
Yep.
Like, all right, we need this. Let's go. I feel you on those controllers too. Like third-party stuff, the quality's not there. You might have bad hats on the bad
like
sensors.
This is a Japanese GameCube controller because I could get it in the box.
Okay.
Still, so
yeah, and it doesn't matter for that because it's buttons and muscle memory, so you don't need to read and see.
No, controllers are all the same for the most part, unless you can find some of those weird Japanese controllers that they have out there.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, the controllers are the same.
Got you. For the shooters, do you play many shooters on PC or do you just stick to console?
Really just Destiny. If I'm playing a shooter on the PC, it's going to be Destiny 2.
Okay.
Like I was saying earlier, it's just the way, Bungie just makes such a I know the game gets a lot of hate, but to me, it's like such a good shooter. And I haven't found a shooter yet that sparks it for me like the way that game does. So
got you. Yeah, I've not played it. I might have to give that a try. That one's free to play, right?
Yeah, it's free to play. If you wanted the expansions are the only thing you got to pay for. So
right. Do you use keyboard and mouse or do you use controller?
I do not use keyboard and mouse.
Okay.
I've got a Razer Wolverine that I use.
Okay.
Oh.
With,
I get so much crap in the Destiny 2 clan I'm in because I don't use keyboard and mouse, but being a strictly console gamer, like having this keyboard and the mouse is all kind of alien to me. So
yeah, and it can be different, because you're using your fingers, as far as putting them out, or your thumbs in this.
The muscle memory on a controller, I know, like
the
WSD or whatever it is, my hands would be all over the place.
Yeah, it definitely takes getting used to, and you've got your pinky and then your thumb over, just using different stuff, and it's weird. I like using a keyboard and mouse for shooters on PC. I 100% try to do that on the shooters when I'm playing first person. Now, third person shooters, it's a little different story. I like doing the controller, and that is kind of similar to you, where I've just become accustomed to controls with third person on a console. So yeah, I play my third persons with controllers, and I use the keyboard and mouse on the shooters. Do you find that the games give you a disadvantage at all with the controller for the shooters that way?
With Destiny, I would say it's probably more just in the PvP aspect.
Do they do the aim assist and stuff like that for the controller?
They do.
Okay,
So
that's cool.
Yeah, if you're playing on and it's from what I've heard, like some guns function better with the controller on Destiny 2 for the PC versus the keyboard and mouse. So
okay,
just with the whole the stickiness of the aim assist and everything. So I just use a controller because I feel like it's just more my comfort zone. And if I'm in the middle of a raid with the guys in the clan, the last thing I want to do is be like fidgeting with the buttons and trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, yep, there'd definitely be a learning curve and keyboard and mouse in it, that's for sure. And a lot of times you don't want to spend time learning a new control when you're already good at the one you got.
Yeah, I do want to learn it eventually, but that'll be something I do off stream.
Gotcha. You get practice, get good at it, get those mistakes out of the way before you get in front of a bunch of people. That's funny.
Because I do have a nice, gaming mouse I went out and bought, and I just got it for the looks.
Oh, okay. What type of gaming mouse did you
get? I got a Razer Basilisk.
Okay.
Then I got a Razer mechanical keyboard too. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're all ready to go with the hardware.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. It's just me, breaking down and actually trying it.
Okay. I was just checking out the Razer Basilisk real quick. That has a couple side buttons. That's a nice mouse. Does that have multiple buttons?
Yeah, it's got. I got two on.
I'm sorry, I did something and lost the audio. Oh, he must have hit a button and lost him. I didn't lose the audio. I lost. He'll be back in the studio. I just set him up. We did the old BigJmo. There we go.
I clicked I clicked one of the buttons on my mouse and it backed me up.
That's what I figured. I was like, oh, yeah, we just got him set up with mouse.
Yeah, I've got 3 buttons on the side and 2 underneath the wheel, or like right below the wheel. So,
got you. Do you program those at all in there?
I haven't even messed with it yet, to be honest with you. Obviously, something's going on because it just backed me off.
Right? That's too funny. The back button. I wonder. Yeah, no, I'm not. I was going to try my back button and see if it popped me out too, but no, we'll let it be for now. Yeah, I like the programmable buttons on there for different gaming with the computer as well. Do you do any other games on the computer, or is it just Destiny?
I've got. Let me see. What do I got on here? I can tell you what I got right now. I've got Dying Light 2 on here. I've got Cyberpunk. I've got the Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2.
Okay.
Splitgate. I actually do have the Max Payne collection on here. Genshin Impact. And then did I say Borderlands 3? I got Borderlands 3 on here.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, no. That's a fun game too.
Oh yeah, I love Borderlands.
Do you get the free games off of Epic?
That's where I got Borderlands 3 from.
Yep, and they got another game I think coming out tomorrow. I'm excited to see because right now they're doing their summer sale and they usually do some pretty good games through there for the giveaways. I always try and check those out. So
yeah, somebody posted. I can't remember where I saw it. They're like, because I had Borderlands on my PlayStation when I had it, and then I got rid of. When I had my 4 and 5, I had Borderlands.
Okay,
and then when they like, oh, it's free on the Epic Store, I'm like, well, I'm going to re-download it and we'll play it on here.
There you go.
That would be fun to play on stream too. I love Borderlands.
Yep. Borderlands is a lot of fun. Borderlands 3, I haven't beaten that one. I've beaten all of the other Borderlands except the first Borderlands. I just couldn't go back and play it after playing the other ones. But yeah, it's a good game. It's definitely fun. I don't know how that works with the controller either, but ones like that where you've got driving involved too, I always like having the controller for
Oh yeah,
driving. Yep,
you get a little bit more control with the car.
yep,
For
yep. And like
sure.
Red Dead Online or Red Dead in general with the horses and horseback and controls and stuff like that, I find that better with the controller. Also, like keyboard and mouse is difficult for me anyway. Um, yeah, the Epic games. I was just gonna say, was that where you're reading off your library? Is your Epic library?
I just kind of pulled my screen to the side here and just kind of looked at my screen and saw what I had on, like the
Gotcha.
icons on my screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got a ton of games. A ton.
Yeah, I need to jump back into Destiny 2 because the new season started Tuesday, and I quit playing halfway through last season, so I need to jump back. And I paid for the season pass, so I should probably jump back into it at some
Oh,
point.
probably so. Those season passes, man. I got on I got on the season pass for Call of Duty, I think it was. And I bought it, and the season was really short, and I only played like 10 levels of it. And I'm like, no, that's it. I'm not doing this again.
You know
At least
which
for that
one?
game.
The one that really got me was the Halo Battle Pass. That
Mm-hmm.
one really got me just because of the whole leveling system so garbage in it.
Yeah,
I wish I wouldn't have bought that one.
yeah.
Like after I saw how janky the battle pass was, I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm not even gonna play this anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's that game. That's kind of how it was with me too on that game. I got the Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I forget which one it was. I don't know, but it ran fairly poorly on my computer at the time, and I couldn't talk to my friends in Discord and run the game because Discord would sound like a garbled mess, and I couldn't stream it, so I didn't play it anymore. I've got a better computer that'll run it well now, but I'm not gonna load up a 120 gigabyte game, and I don't know. Yeah, it's off my game list for now. All right, man. I don't know what else. We got a few more minutes here, about 10 more minutes. Do you have any good stories you want to tell? Any good, positive, inspirational, some sort of story you've got about anything?
What, just about my streaming or anything, or just
Whatever you feel
general?
like, man. Enlighten us. Tell us a story.
I don't know. Just I would say probably this last year has just been kind of a struggle with like my whole stomach issues and everything.
Okay.
Just don't give up on stuff. It took me 6 months to finally get my stomach issues and everything squared away. I couldn't tell you how many times I've been to the ER this year.
Yeah.
But we finally got it squared away, and
okay.
Turns out I have a hernia inside my stomach.
Oh no.
And there's nothing they can do for it. It's just, I just, kind of got to deal with it. So,
right.
Just don't give up on stuff, because there's a lot of times when I just, kind of wanted to give up, just be like, I just can't do this, because it like when it would flare up, I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
And the only reason I did get out of bed was because I had a 2-year-old I had to take care of. If I didn't have him, I probably would have just laid in bed all day. Right. I don't know. I would say though, my buddy Captain Clutch is the guy that got me. He's like, hey, you really should start streaming your retro games. I think that's gonna be your niche. And he was the one that was kind of really pushing me to, share my passion with everybody. So big shout out to him, because he's the one that's was the one that's been pushing me to do this. So
Captain Clutch
710. Yeah, he's been the guy that's been helping me. If I've needed advice for something, he's been the guy I've gone to and that's helped me out with a lot. And then I'm a part of another group called the Pew Pew Bros. That's another good group of guys that I'm hanging out with and talking with. I'm down to just meet anybody. If anybody wants to come hang out and chat with me sometime, I'll always talk to anybody and everybody. I don't care who you are, what you do, your preference, whatever. Just come hang out with me and have a good time.
There you go. So Captain Clutch, and this the streaming and things like that. Did that help with what you're dealing with your surgery?
I would say it kind of helped take my mind off of when I, you get in the zone and then it you kind of go to a different place, and that's kind
Hmm.
of helped out a lot too. Um
Okay,
I didn't have time to sit there and think about, what's going on inside me.
right.
Um so that really, and actually I actually had to my insurance wanted me to go see a therapist for everything.
Hmm.
Um and they're like, "What can you do to help what's your getaway?" And I was like, "Well, my video games and my streaming has kind of been my getaway." And she's like, "Well, you need to, if that's what's doing it, make sure you're, getting enough of it in to where it's, kind of helping you calm and relax,
Okay,
because if you think you know what it's like having a 2-year-old. I get off, I work 10 hours a day and come home, and then I have to deal with,
right.
bouncing off the walls, and then he goes to bed, then I come in here and I kind of calm myself down and get into my happy place. So,
Okay, and that
um
happens when you're streaming and stuff too. Then
yeah.
yeah,
So,
that's awesome. Did you get laid up? Were you out of work for a long time with that?
no, just a couple weeks. What
But you're dealing with like the pain and all that stuff while you're trying to go to work. Hi, Beanie. This
um
is
so with the whole thing I'm dealing with now, they've got me on some medication that's kind of got everything under control.
okay.
Um and then they put me on some, I was telling my doctor, I was like, it seems like when I'm having, when I'm really stressed out, that's when the flare ups start to happen. So they got me on some anxiety medicine and some other stuff too. And since he's put me on my anxiety medicine, I haven't had an issue since. So, um, things are going good, really
That's
good.
good. That's good to hear, man. Um, Now with Twitch, do you see a broad, like long range horizon for what you're doing with that, or are you just kind of doing it as a hobby and seeing where the ball goes?
I would say it's seeing where the ball goes.
Yeah,
I'm not. I don't. If it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. I'm not opposed for it going anywhere, but
right.
um,
Obviously, yeah,
it would have to be something where I knew I was going to be able to take care of my family at the same time.
yeah.
Um, I enjoy sharing, my love of games with everybody. So, you come hang out with me, you're going to see a lot of fun, nostalgic action. If if we grow, I want to grow, if people want to come check me out and hang out, and I'm always down. It's just so weird. I don't want to, if we can ever get to that point, then yeah, I would love to be at that point where this would be my job.
Okay, and become like a streamer. You'd say
Yeah,
like, hey, I'd like
yeah.
to be do this, and if I could make my income off of
If I could
retro
make,
game streaming, I'd do
yep,
it.
I would do it. But I'd have to make sure I was at that point before
Right.
um
Oh
I
yeah,
could.
definitely. You can't switch gears like that, especially supporting a family.
No.
Um, I'm a little bit stuck in my situation where I have to do my wife's dialysis 4 times a
Hmm.
day, and I only get a few hours in between, and it's very, very difficult. So I'm trying to do something with this myself, but I don't have the other part. I don't have the main job. I don't have a main job,
Yeah.
man. I got to do this. So this is what we're trying to do and make it work. But I couldn't
Hmm.
sit here and just like quit my job and jump and do what I'm doing now. It wouldn't
No.
work. So that's a smart way to do it. Are you doing anything to grow and develop your Twitch stream? Are you putting in research or doing homework on OBS or looking at adding features or anything like that?
Um, I for me, it's just been, I just try to be out supporting as much as I can, get my
Hmm.
name out there as much as I can.
Okay.
Um, if I had like it for me, it all comes down to time. Do I have time to mess around with my computer and try and
Okay.
figure stuff out? I do have some, stuff on my Twitch stream and everything. But
Hmm.
as far as that goes, I I just pretty much just am out networking as much as I can.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we're doing here.
Yep.
We're networking here, trying to get our names out there, create some interest in our topics that we're doing. So, yeah, I appreciate you absolutely 100% for reaching out to me and wanting to be on the podcast. Man.
I
It's awesome
appreciate you to
you.
having me on here.
Yeah.
I was really nervous earlier. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to screw this up, or is this?
Yeah. I mean, we had a little bit of dead times, but we didn't really screw. There's nothing really you can screw up. You just hang out and talk and be, that's really all it is. So, yeah, dude, it's cool. I'm glad you got over the nerves and showed up and came to join the podcast, man.
I appreciate it, man.
So when's your next stream?
Friday at 8:30.
Okay.
Central Time, PM.
And we look at seeing some Matrix.
Some Matrix, yes. We're gonna. Friday and Saturday nights are usually my later streams. I can go later. So
okay,
we can play later. So definitely, we're gonna try and finish it Friday or Saturday night. So
awesome. We'll look forward to that. I'll try to tune in on Friday. I do my Gnome Saying on Friday nights as well. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to pop in there specifically, but I try to do like what you do for networking and go in and get into people's streams and at least lurk and try to get them an active viewer on there. So we'll try and catch you on there too. Guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks again, BigJmo. Wait a minute. One more thing before we go. You mentioned your little one. Is he going to be little JMO?
Well, he could be because his name is James. So
right.
JMO is actually my nickname. I had some buddies in high school give me that because my first name starts with J and my first 2 letters of my last name are Mo. So they started calling me that. So the big is just because I'm a bigger guy. So it just kind of stuck. So,
got you. That's great.
But yeah.
All right, JMO. Thank you for joining us, man. We're gonna get an outro here going and run these credits. We look forward to seeing you live on Twitch. I appreciate you being here. You got any last words, brother?
Thank you all for checking me out and hanging out with me. I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you, Gnome, for having me on. I really do appreciate it all, man. Everybody have a good night, and hopefully I'll catch you around sometime in my stream. Thanks,
absolutely. Y'all. Sounds great, man. All right, BigJmo. That was awesome, guys. BigJmo here joining us for the podcast for Gnome Saying Presents. We don't have anybody set up for next week on Gnome Saying Presents. If you want to be on the show, please go to gnomesayingpresents.com, apply. If you're a amateur content creator, we'd love to have you on for an interview. If you enjoyed this week's episode, please don't forget to hit the follow, hit the subscribe, hit the like button, whatever buttons you have to hit to say, yes, this guy is awesome. Please go over to BigJmo on Twitch as well. Check him out. Give him a follow. We've got the link right down there. BigJmo. Go hit him up. He's an awesome guy. A lot of fun with the retro games. And guys, thank you so much for stopping in to check out this week's episode of Gnome Saying Presents. We'll see you guys next week. Same Gnome time, same Gnome channel, guys. And we're going to get this credits. Beanie, 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 beanie.